Welcome to Axel's Garage. Today we're out here with Jeff Stevens' 2005 Avalanche. We have 5 days left. So today's day 5 and we need to get all the little things done because Steve-O is headed back to school 5 days. It's been a little while since I've taken one of these panels off, but I have a 2/4 inch drive sockets, one metric, one standard, 1/4 inch drive ratchet and extension, a cordless pneumatic ratchet, a little pocket screwdriver, and a trim removal tool. Let's see what we got. So coming in on this panel, I know this has got to come off. This is the just the bezel for the latch, and you could just pop that out with a trim removal or a pocket screwdriver. I like to see it went in this way, so I want to put it on my dash facing that same direction so I don't flop it around. You'll see you got a little a screw in there. It's got a Phillips head, but it's also got a nut around it. You have one over here. You also have this panel here, which is going to come out. If you go from the top, I believe is the best way to do it. All right, and you can pull this out. You can see how it goes in. So big clip going in that way, and then these two push clips. Pretty easy. All right. Then it looks like, I believe this has got to come off on these. All right. Talking with the screwdriver in my mouth. So that pops off pretty easy. Now this panel does go up. So it's sitting on a lip up here. So the panel, once you loosen everything up, is gonna come up a little bit. Now these here, I don't remember. Oh, that's just a cap, look at that. Now in the GMT-800s, there are variations here. So that one was a cap. Some of them don't have anything here. Some of them got a complete push pin on it. On this inside one, it's a Christmas tree style clip. So you pull it out nice with the trim tool. Some of them have a Christmas tree over here as well. Depending on what year, they can have some subtle differences, but not a whole lot. And it's a T20 Torx. I think this is a 2005. I think this is the first door panel I've removed that had a Torx, and apparently my tool is falling apart. There's a long shouldered washer sleeve thingy. Have not come across that before. I got this guy here. I don't believe this guy here has to come out, but we do have looks like a 7mm, well, close to it. Try the 7 first. Yep, it's going to be a 7. All right, there's your 7 to get it. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, the whole thing just comes up. Let's see if it goes up. Okay. So, bring it straight up and then pulling it out. You can see on the inside here, these how the clips go on it. So it's just a straight up kind of thing. There are no push clips on these panels. So we got some wires on the panels. All right, one for this light down on the bottom. So the light pops out. Just pries right out of the hole here. And then we should be able to disconnect the wiring. Now the whole thing pulls out. All right, let's leave it like that. All right. Now on this side, we have our switches. Now our switches, on these, there's a screw from underneath that holds this whole bezel on, so you don't want to mess those switches up. So you want to come in, this way, and you want to try to disconnect all of your wiring harnesses. They all have a little push lock on them, so you do them by feel, and you should be able to unclip all of them fairly easily. So once you get all the electrical connections disconnected, there's just one thing that I want to show you here. Most of them pop in and they just got a little push release like a standard connector. However, there is a big one that goes in there, and that big one has a actual lock lever. You can see here when it's seated, it's like that, and then you got to take this lever and you got to push it all the way down like that in order to release it. That's the big one. So once you have the door panel off and you peel down your dust shield or water shield or whatever you want to call it, here's the front right. So we know we got the right door handle. It goes in like this, okay? And you can see there's a plug here. So now I'm pretty sure we gotta remove that plug to get at this top one. And then you got this bottom one, and then you got this top one over here. Now, where are they? You can't see them because the whole mechanism is in the way here. So we're gonna have to start fishing around. So first thing I'm gonna do is take the plug out. Once you take that plug out, right in the hole here is your first 10 millimeter that you need to get. And it's a nut, shouldn't be on too tight. And just try to not drop it and get it out like that. There's your 10 millimeter nut. Set that to the side. Now there's two more in here. So if that was that one, which was up about there, the next one should be right back here. And I'm gonna have to get a light because I have old man eyes, and maybe we could reach in there and get it somehow. I'm also gonna get a 10 millimeter ratcheting open end wrench. Okay, so after we got this one out, if you look through this hole, you could see that bottom one again. So there's that top one, the bottom one is through this hole here. And if you drop it, it's usually fairly easy to find in these doors. Bottom one's a little rusty, nothing too bad, the threads look good. And now we know our third one is way up there. The third one, I believe we got to get out with an open end wrench. So moving you back out, the easiest way to get the third one is to slide your arm as best you can up and in and feel around for it. And you can feel it. It's going to be right behind this area here. Okay, and once you crack it loose, it's going to spin on the ratchet, which is a pain in the ass. So you got to try to snake your arm up in and use your mind, spin it off, and twist your arm back out, and there it is. Coming in on the handle, you could sort of move it out of the way like that, and you could see it's pretty easy on this side. You're just going to take this little push clip and you're going to push it off of the stud, and then the stud will come off and the handle comes off just like that. Now looking inside, you can see your latch mechanism and where everything moves. And I like to spray a little lube in there while you got it all open. What I also like to do is take a little, just any kind of general purpose penetrating oil or WD-40 or something like that, and just give a wipe. And this, I mean, you could use Windex, you could use some kind of quick detailer or something. I just like to get the scourge out of this area around where the door handle sits, and you take your replacement handle. Now this can turn up and down, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put this in. I'm not going to lock it all the way, and I'm just going to slide it under. I'm going to put the studs through. Like it would be in place. And you see how nice and tight it is? Well, want to make sure it works. And then what you do is you lock your door. I got Steven in the car, and right now, door's locked. Unlock it. Okay, and it unlocks. Remember, I'm not bolted in. So, the door's unlocked. I know that works. Now, if you take this off and you screw this down, it'll take up any slack in the handle. So if you have a handle and everybody that has these vehicles will understand what I'm saying, that flippity flops out all the time, you can tighten it up. But it gets to a point where if you make it too tight, the door will open even when it's locked. So you want to make sure you're not there. So right now, it opens. Lock it. So now it's locked, and I still can't unlatch it, and it's tight. So we like it there. Unlock. Now if the handle was flopping around, you can adjust that up and down and get it to where it's nice, but you got to make sure that when it's locked, you still can't, because if you over adjust it, even with a locked door, you'll be able to unlock it. So we're in a good spot here. So now what I could do is take this out, and I could latch it on, because we know that we're good. So now that's not going anywhere. And then before I close it up for good, I'll take some of my lube, and I'll spray some of my lube on the spring and the pivot points. And I'm doing that to prevent future rust or anything like that. We'll pop this into the spot where it needs to be. Okay, and now we can turn around and put our bolts back in. So the first one I'm going to do is the easy one. Hold it from the front side, go in through the hole, and I'm just going to get it started, and then I'm going to get the other one started as well, which is the one that was a little rusty. So I'm going to going to spray a little lube on it. And you can drop everything in the door like I just did. Like I said, these doors aren't too bad with fishing stuff out of them. Some doors, it's a real pain in the ass. I just like to start them like that to make sure they're not cross-threaded. Well, before we tighten them, let's just make sure that this is in the right spot, and it is. Just give it a little bit. A little bit. Those two are good. Put my rubber plug back in. There we go. And now all we got to do is grab our third one and twist our arm all the way up to where the stud is. Try not to drop the nut, which I dropped it and caught it. All right. Go as far as you can go by hand, and then take a ratcheting wrench, kind of difficult to do with a small socket. It's easier with the ratcheting wrench. If you have to use an opening wrench, it'll just take you a little longer. Snug that up. Make sure you're in there nice and tight. Good to go. All right, so now that you're all done with what you're gonna do, you can put this plastic draft shield back. If it doesn't re-stick itself, you can use some duct tape or some tape. One thing that I did screw up when I was taking this apart was right here. This little screw that I mentioned, I didn't think had to come out, but it's supposed to come out because it clips in to the door. Not all years have this. So I'm going to take this out, I'm going to reattach it to the door panel, I'll show you. And then we'll put this back in once we get the door panel on, side of the door panel, which I'll show you. All right, just like that, and that's how that goes. So now, what I like to do is hold the door panel up. You take this little light bulb, fish it through that hole, and now we got to connect all our connections back to our switches. All right, so once you got all your wires in, you can make sure your bottom two clips go in. And lift it up top for your top clips. And then slide it down. All right, you're gonna know you're all the way down when your holes line up. So you got your Christmas tree clip here and this screw there. When those holes line up, you know you're all the way in place. You're all the way down. Just make sure that all your clips, it was 2 on each side top, on the bottom, they're good, you know you're good. So now, you can go back to your 7mm, and I am going to put this one that I didn't take out initially back in. Just give a little snug. Long one that goes right up under the grab handle. All right, that one's in. T20 Torx. So I can slide this in, find that hole. Probably before I put all these screws in, I should check my function. So lock and unlock is good. Where'd you put the keys, Steve? Turn the ignition on. And auto up works, auto down works, up works, window works. Seat heaters didn't work to begin with, so we're not worried about them. Turn that off. All right, so now I got this screw's going in. Did I tighten it all the way? All right, that's good and snug. I can take the cap for this one. Try to pop it back on. There we go. Pops on. Christmas tree clip for the inside one. My little window mirror access trim panel. Bottom clips in first, and then there's 2 plastic clips on the top. Just line them up. That's in. All right, what else we got? We got this guy here. This guy's going to clip in the front first, so we're going to grab the handle, slide it around the handle. We're going to get them in the front, slide it in, and then that one you can pop and pop. Now that one's in nice and secure. Up here on our lock unlock, all right? So that's going to be unlock, that's going to be lock, and it's going to be like that. So you want to make sure that you got this guy right in the right spot. So it's easier to push it back. This one is going to go in first, and then this guy is going to go over the hole, and you're going to push this side in. just like that. And you can hear the latch working. That snaps in. The only thing left is your light. Your light plugs back into the housing and it snaps right back in. All right, so you just snap the light back in and this goes in. This goes first and then this pops in. When you want to take it out, that goes out and that goes in. Well, that's it. Pretty simple. We got a door handle in for Steve-O. Looks great. All we got to do is bang out the other side and he'll be good to go. One more project on Jeff done. I'll link everything we used in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.